Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brian from USA.Patriot.Cards, and I'm here with the Dallas recap. It was another big one, another big show. This time brought my son with me. He was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I didn't think he would make it, to be honest. He's a Pokemon guy. He ended up spending the night with me and Josh, and I didn't see him. I never saw him. He was gone. We got there. He had a box of cards. He didn't really ever ask me for money. He just took his cards and he went and did his thing. I checked in with him a couple times here and there, but other than that, he was up in the room on Saturday night sleeping on the floor. Bless his heart, because we only had two queen-size beds, and my friend Josh was nice enough to bring his air mattress, but there wasn't enough room to push the air mattress down onto the floor, and so we tried to do that. We ended up like slicing a hole in the air mattress, and so basically Josh has a trip to Walmart to exchange that, but told my son to get up off the floor, get in bed, and what I thought was impossible didn't seem too bad. I mean, we both slept in a little small mini, what they call queens, but let's be honest, they're like barely big enough for one person. But we managed. He did great. He was super happy. He definitely has been bit by the card bug, by the Dallas card show bug, and he can't wait until the next one. And so that's really cool that he was able to survive his first show, actually to thrive in his first show, because he did some good deals and he's learning the ropes. As for me, it was the Dallas card show. It always is unpredictable, and it always is impactful, especially in my collection. I'm always sort of, I never really like write down a plan or formulate like this big master plan in my mind or separate cards out, or I just kind of think about it, in the days and weeks leading up to the show. I just kind of put in my mind, hey, this card I might need to liquidate, these cards here, they can go. So I'm always thinking about how to keep my trade game, my selling game going, so that I can keep my buying game going. I'm still holding true to the New Year's goal for 2023 of no new money into the sports card collection, because I don't need to bring any new money into it. I have plenty of things to liquidate, and so that's what I did. I was able to start selling a lot of sketches prior to the show. So I moved a ton of sketch, good Garbage Pail Kids, Marvel, I think a couple Star Wars. Able to move a lot of that to get some cash. And then I had targeted a few bigger cards in my collection that I was willing to move if the deal presented itself. And so I did just that. Let me start by, I guess, just showing you a few things. I downloaded a bunch of stuff here. Of course, I don't have any video necessarily of the show, but I do have some pictures I can show. One interesting card that I saw was this Dirk Nowitzki 98-99 Flair Showcase Row 1. The only card, this is a rookie card, the only card higher than this is a Row 0, but it's actually a masterpiece, is 1 of 1. So this is out of 99. These are really, really hard to find. I was intrigued by this card, but ultimately I passed. But as far as Dirk collectors go, you guys might be interested in seeing this. I don't know if it survived the show. I was looking at it Saturday morning, and I never really went back, but I did mull it over for a while. I just decided to pass ultimately on that, but it's a very cool card. Let's see, what else could I show you? This right here. So Juan Soto has been, his stuff, his market is so far down, just like a lot of guys. But Soto went to the Padres and just kind of, entered into just kind of hobby purgatory, for lack of a better term. Just a place where he's on the West Coast, and even though that team has a lot of superstars in Machado and Tatis and Soto, Soto just kind of is a forgotten, hobby guy. Not forgotten totally, but just he's put up on the shelf for now. He's not having a great year. He's not having a horrible year. He's in that middle ground, but he has been heating up a little bit because of trade talks. Now I don't know if what I've been reading and seeing is kind of a smoke screen deal or if it's real, but and I'm sure you've seen it too if you follow baseball news at all. But Juan Soto has been mentioned as a possible trade chip for the Padres. They're about 8 or 9 games out of first place. That's not, they could still definitely make moves with that team and make the postseason. So there's no guarantee on anything, but people were talking about Soto. People were looking for Soto. And if you look at the last comps on his first Bowmans, they are ticking up. Some people, the best probably scenario for Soto holders would be for him to get traded to the Yankees, or any other team that might be in contention. But if he gets traded to the Yankees, his stuff will, goes and hits a home run or two. It'll be hot, really, really hot. Now, for me, it wouldn't be a situation where I'd buy a Soto and then look for him to get, a little buzz going, gets traded to the Yankees, and then say I paid $1,000 for it and then sell it for $1,500. I'd rather have the card. I'd rather hold the card, but I'd rather get it before all that stuff happens. Get it cheaper. With me, I'm just such a collector that it's hard to look at deals as just marginal flips. Hey, I'll buy this now, and then this X, Y, and Z happens. It'll go up 30%. I'll flip it, and then make some money. That's a great approach, and that's what I'd say 50% of the hobby is. It's not necessarily buying the card for the card, but it's buying the card for the margins. So if I bought a Soto, I'd hold it and hope he got traded to the Yankees and then be like, wow, this is an awesome card to have. He's on the Yankees. He's hot again in the hobby, and I got this card cheap. Now, would that card be available, in a future deal, or if I needed to liquidate it to move into something better? Yeah, but I'm not just going to sell it or whatever just because it's time to sell. That's probably a very what's the word? Responsible and approach. It's probably one that will allow you to avoid some losses. But it's not one that is easily. It's not an approach that's easily taken by collectors, because it's like, well, there goes that card, So anyway, this blue Soto, I don't know. I think this is all the scratches here on the showcase, but last did about 5, I think 5, maybe 6. And so I asked the guy, hey, what do you have on this? And the only reason I'm showing you this is because his answer was blew my mind. He said, well, I'm a little high on it. I said, okay. He said, I want 20 for it. I said, 20. I said, it's about a 6K card. He goes, I know. He goes, it's more of a card to get people to come to my showcase. So then maybe they'll buy something. I'm like, yeah, but respectfully, if they ask you about this and then you tell them you're 4 times higher than where that card is, I don't think they're going to stick around long enough to see what else you have in your showcase. I think they're gone like I was. Just interesting. I think I would have maybe had way more respect. I certainly wouldn't be talking about it in my Dallas recap if he would have just said something like, you know what, man, he's starting to heat up, and that's just a card I'm going to wait on. I'm going to sit on. Totally understand that. I get it. Totally get it. Maybe pull it from your showcase. Maybe you don't. But to say you want 20K, it's just ridiculous. But that's the way the Dallas show can be. If you, the more you go, the more you know who's going to be around comps and who's going to work with you, and who's going to be able to you know, give you decent deals. But there just continues to be collectors that set up at the Dallas Card Show, and they have no intention of moving the good stuff. The mid stuff, they'll move that at comps or just under all day long. But the big stuff like this, they just, and I get it. That's why I don't set up at shows. That's why I don't do that, because I wouldn't want to sell this card right now either, especially at comps. But I couldn't look somebody in the face and tell them that I'm 4 times over the last comp on a card. I just couldn't do it. I'd rather say it's not available. Anyway, that was interesting. Speaking of Juan Soto, I did get this card. Where is it? Where is it? I did pick this up from a friend, Tom, and Tyler, his son. Titan Graphs 24, I believe, on Instagram is Tyler. Good people, California people, but we share a lot of the same values and political leanings. So we went to dinner with Josh, and I went to dinner with Tyler and Tom, and we ended up, basically, Tyler is in college, so he's a little younger. So of course, on Saturday night he couldn't wait to hit the town. He went out with some friends, and they did the Dallas nightlife scene, but his dad stayed back and went to trade night with Josh and me, and actually did a couple deals with Tom. So that was fun. But I picked this up from them. Only had this about less than 24 hours because it ended up flipping this. But one thing on these Soto First Bowmans is the autos. You can see here this auto is gorgeous. And this would be a great candidate to send to PSA to get that double 10 on the auto. But I ended up, like I said, moving this in a deal. But they gave me a hell of a price on that. And I ended up making about $400 total when I moved it. I guess the best thing, let's see, what else can I show you? This is a card that Tom and Tyler had. They're actually into this card at 18K. And it does about 4 now. It's the Luca Prism Choice. It's out of 88 red. I like it. I almost wanted to make a play for it. I'm sure I could have like gotten something worked out with them, but in my lane or in my sort of parameters I've set up for myself, I'm trying to stay away from stuff like this because it's not color matched. And that's one way to sort of narrow things down is, pick some parameters for yourself. Set some, whether it's not doing downtowns and not doing kabooms, or whether it's, just doing refractors only as far as like first Bowman, not chasing color. Or if it is chasing color, making it color match only. If it's, not doing any variations, only doing true. If it's staying away from sticker autos, if it's staying away from player worn or worse patches. I think they even have like this patch is not associated with any player or event. Like, so from my understanding, they can actually take a patch or a piece of a jersey and stick it on a player's card, and that player has never touched that. So stay away from that. Just setting parameters for yourself to sort of shrink down the amount of cards that you're tempted by. It is definitely some advice I would impart because it helps you stay focused, and I was able to just look at this, admire this, because it would have, like I said, it would have been probably an easy deal to make because Tom's a friend of mine and we, work out fair deals, but I've got so much in Luca already. It's at this point, it's got to be like color match or bust for me. But it was an interesting card. This is a card that we saw at trade night that Tom ended up picking up. Jason Tatum. This kid, Cade Cunningham, is being talked about. His market is heating back up. He's a guy that, of course, got hurt last year, but is much like Chet, is coming back to their second year, but what will be considered in their hobby a rookie season. And so he picked up this. This is gorgeous. I think this is out of 20. This is the Blue Shimmer, and it's a color match. Tom gave a Herbert, I think, and maybe some cash for those 2 cards, a Herbert Contenders. Let's see what else. What else? Before I get into what I gave, this is a cool card. Saw this at Trade Night. Guy wanted 3,200. Tom offered him 3 flat, and he said no. He said he'd had a couple offers at 3, but that he'd turned them down. Now, I have no reason not to believe that, but what's intriguing is this is a white sparkle PSA 10 LaMelo rookie. I mean, it's color matched. It's a huge card. It's a huge player. It's gem mint. I mean, what's not to love, right? The Luka does 20,000 plus, but I just don't see somebody seeing this card. It's not. I don't know what the pot count is, but it's not a card you're going to see often. But I don't see somebody seeing this, asking where he's at, 3,200, and then you offer 3 and they say no, I got to be at 32, and then you just walk away. This isn't a card you lose over $200. So that was. It's like, well, if a couple people have already walked over $200 on this card, then maybe there's a reason. But I think the last comp was like 6 maybe, or 5,800, something crazy. So I don't know where he got 3,200. Maybe he got it for 3 and he just wants to make $200 and move. But it's definitely a card that's a risk. But if he comes back and if he has any kind of resurgence, man, this card definitely is one you can make some bucks on. So that was cool. And I think, here's a quick story. This one. This Elliot Atomic. I'll tell this story quickly. Brian Gray, the owner of Leaf. And if the off chance, Brian, you see this, I'm just going to tell the story, bud. Old School is a Facebook group. And a lot of big cards, go through there. And see, this was Friday night, I guess. Brian had posted that card in Old School and had price tag of 5 on it. He said, who wants it? Not going to do this deal or no deal stuff. Just who wants it? I'll be at Dallas tomorrow. So I said, I'll take it. He's like, all right, I'll be there between 1 and 2 on Saturday. I said, cool. So my son and I got there in plenty of time. No, this was Thursday night that this deal was made. And then Friday was when we were supposed to meet. Well, I get there 1 or 12, then 1. He's not a hard guy to miss, if you know Brian. So I'm looking and he's not there. So I start, messaging him, hey man, I'm here. Nothing. Just nothing. Another hour goes by. Hey, talk to me, dude. Like, let me know. Because I'm not going to sit here waiting for you to show up, and then not do any other deals because I had this deal sitting on the stove, right? And it's not cooking, right? Because you're not here. And not only are you not here, but you're ghosting me. You're not messaging me. You're not communicating with me. Tell me, hey, man, I'm a little late, or I'm not going to get there till later, or whatever it is. Just communicate something. Well, he never does. And so I ended up going with another Ellie. And I'll show you that here in a second. But 5 or 6 o'clock, and I'm long gone by then. I'm at the house. He messages me, and he says, hey, man, I'm at the front of the card show. I said, dude, I already left. Like, I don't know what you want. Like, he's like, well, all right, well, I guess you can come by the office on Monday and get it. And by the office, he's talking about Leaf, I'm sure, company headquarters or whatever it is, his office. And deal's over. Like that money I had is not, like, it's spent. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know. I don't know if he's so busy that he can't message. He claims he never gave a time, and I circled the message where he did. He's like, oh man, sorry man, my bad, no hard feelings. And I said, no, there's no hard feelings, but like, it just, damn dude, really, is how you do business? And I'm sure it's not, but that's how he did business with me, which eventually ended up probably being a good thing because I got into a better Ellie. And so let me just cut to the chase and get to what I brought back. Now let me show you Now there were some purchases, there were some trades, there were some sales. All of that kind of combined into one, and I'll show you uh, basically what I gave and what I got. So let's start with what I gave. This was a big deal that I did that I used to cash out, and these are some of the cards I was talking about earlier when I mentioned I didn't have a formula like a formulated plan. Like I didn't write down, okay, I'm gonna move this for this, or like this was all just stuff that I consciously put in my case because I knew that I was willing to move this stuff. And then there was one card in particular that I really wanted to move, and it was this Josh Allen blue scope down here in the middle, in the last row on the bottom middle card. That's there's one on eBay for $9,400 or best offer. That's a card that prior to last season was doing 10 plus all day. And his market has taken a little bit of a hit, but I just, with Josh Allen, even though it's a color match, it's Prism, it's PSA 10, I think it's out of 99. Definitely has been one of my favorite cards that I've owned, but I don't know. A couple things scare me about the Josh Allen situation. One, Brian Daboll's gone. Two, Stephon Diggs seems disgruntled. Three, it seems that when Daboll left for the Giants last year, Josh Allen seemed a little lost. His stats were still there, but Burrow came into Buffalo and just worked him. The Bengals didn't really struggle in that game at all. So I don't know. He's always a risk, the way he plays, the way he runs. And then you add on top of that he lost, his offensive coordinator. And I guess that's a testament to how good Brian Daboll could be. Because, as we'll see with one of the cards I picked up, I let this go. And coaching had a lot to do with it. And then I brought in a card that coaching has a lot to do with. Coaching can be everything for a player. Look at Trevor Lawrence. With Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence was a bust. And then when they brought in Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence is arguably the hobby darling right now at quarterback. He might be the hottest QB in the hobby. And that's a big time thank you and nod to Doug Peterson. So, maybe Brian Daboll had a lot to do with the emergence of Josh Allen as an MVP type quarterback, and maybe his departure means more than we know. And if last year's was any indication, last year's just season, the way Josh Allen played, and how at the end of the year him and Stephon Diggs just looked like they couldn't get on the same page. Diggs was openly disgruntled. It's just a situation that's a little too scary for me, and I can see, if they don't have a great year, and if they don't go deep into the playoffs, he's the next one on the chopping block as far as I'm concerned. And then the Tua. Now Tua's a guy that I didn't mind having this card or holding this card. I think Tua's going to have a great year. He just has too many weapons. So if he can stay healthy, that's the big if. If he can stay healthy, I think he can maybe pass Josh Allen on the quarterback tree or ladder in terms of hobby and in terms of value. I know that's maybe laughable to say at this point, but all it takes is Josh Allen getting hurt and Tua getting hot. Tua was arguably, he was in the MVP talk last season, and he beat Josh Allen. So that's not too far-fetched, I don't think. But when I liquidated this lot, he really wanted football, and he ended up with, as you can see here, a ton of baseball. And that was my strategy, was like, okay, I'll let you have two really cherry quarterbacks, and within your margins, but you're also going to take all of these Josh Youngs. And Josh Young's having a fine season, but, you know, he had a big... The last comp on this card is around 350, and I don't know that if it went to auction today, it would do anywhere near that. So the pop count is high enough that when the next auction does happen, I mean, I'm risking that comp being 250, you know. So I had so many of them that I wanted to really move off of those, just take advantage of that high comp. So I was able to do that. The Lindor is a total bust. That card just been an awful card for me because Lindor's boring. I mean, he hits 3-hole in New York, but the Mets don't ever do anything. He never really does anything. I was just happy to get that card out of my collection for whatever it brought back. The Gunnar Henderson, I made a couple hundred on. He was hot. He was cold. I got this card and then he heated up. So I was working off a pretty good comp when he got hot. But he's so inconsistent. Baltimore's really good, but that was a card I didn't really give one crap about. So just to be able to make a little money was nice. The Corey Seager card, that's a pop 12 and a PSA 10 in the refractor. He's having an MVP type year. You'd think that card would be at least flat, but it's not. It's down 50%. People, it's just like, it's prospect or bust, man. It just is. And so, as much as I liked that card and enjoyed it in my collection because I'm a Rangers guy, it was just time for it to go. And then Bichette has been having a good year, so I've been trying to move his stuff where I can. And then Julius Randle. Julius Randle, if you look at his numbers last year, they're pretty good. The Knicks were, exciting. People were excited about the Knicks, Brunson and Randle, but I think, I got out what I put into that card, which was a miracle. And, it's being a national treasure. It's going to have, I think it was like a $500 card, basically, and a 9.5 with a gorgeous patch. And that just tells you how uninspiring Julius Randle is. But, I only think this card is going to go down. I don't see anything that could happen short of the Knicks winning a title and him winning MVP of the finals to make that card go anywhere but down. So, and then the two Witts, 8.5 centering issues on these definitives. I'll tell you what, Bobby Witt, look at his numbers for July. He's having an MVP July. Let me just say that. If he doesn't win American League Player of the Month for July, I'll be surprised. He's hot. He's playing out of his mind, and I've been waiting for this. There'll be more Bobby Witt Jr. later in this video, but these were two cards that just, definitive. They're cool. They're 8.5s. I think I got like $300 combined, but it was just, throw them in, get them gone. And I used the Josh really as the anchor of this deal, and then he asked for the 2-0, which I didn't mind. The last comp on 2-0 is 2,200, and I don't think it goes anywhere near that if one goes to auction. I know there was a kid trying to move one for 2K, I think, at the show, and I got like 1,800, I think, for mine. So all in all, this right here was my entire, I moved some more cards, but this was the bulk of everything right here. And I'll show you what else I moved. There were a couple more cards that I moved. I sold this offline or online off show. I think Friday night. DAC Red Crystals. Sold it to a guy that has the Zeke Red Crystals and gave him a good price on it. Just wanted it. Well, I didn't want it gone, but he wanted it. We worked a deal out, so it went. And then I moved this on Friday night to Hit Parade. Surprisingly, they gave me 100% comps on it. which was $9.50. I have a bunch of Bo, so it was time to get rid of some Bo. And then there was another Josh Young that I moved to hit parade. This card here that brought back $12.50, so they gave me $300. So between the Bichette Refractor and this, I got $12.50. So those are all the cards that went. And well, here's what I brought back. Let's just everything's down here. Let's see, where do I start? Let me just go in order of value here. So I picked this up. This was a Sunday morning pickup, and it's like a $200 card. It's not a big deal, but this is total nostalgia for me. It's Toys R Us. It's a black border, so it's a really hard card to 10. But and I'm not the biggest Barry Bonds fan, but like I said, this Toys R Us. Man, I remember going to Toys R Us and getting these, the collector's edition, the rookie. And so that is going to go into my 80s nostalgia pile, and it's going to always be one that I enjoy looking at. The Toys R Us. Now I need a KB Toys. I remember those two. And then, let's see, what would be next? Okay. This. I got this from Tom. This would be my 4th blue. This is a Min Gem, but it is a 9.5. Bobby Witt Jr. First Bowman blue. Yeah, I think it was a steal. I gave, I forgot one card that I gave. Is it up here? Yeah. So I did move this to this Purple Fox, and I basically I moved this and 600 for this. Which I think the last comp on this was 14, but we were doing 85% on both of our cards. So that's how it worked. And he had a triple and a home run yesterday on Sunday. Like I said, he's having an MVP July, and I hope he just continues to rake because I've been waiting on that. He's a great player, though. But I did move the Fox. I've got another 9.5 Fox and a PSA 10 Fox as well. And then, let's see, I guess this would be next. Got this from Extraordinary Cards. Actually found this online and then messaged him, and it just so happened he had brought this to Dallas. So this is the Dirk 2018 Flawless Ruby 15 out of 15. It's the true vertical. Does have a scratch in the case on the back, which kind of sucks, but I mean, it's not cracked, it's just scratched. It is what it is, but it's still sealed. I mean, I could crack it, but I typically like to just leave my sealed stuff sealed. So, but I mean, just has an amazing patch. I love 2018, just any set because it does have Luka's rookie in it. So this is definitely a cool card for me. And this was the only one online when I found it. You'll see a lot more horizontal than you will vertical, but Dirk has such, and I think I talked about this. Did I talk about this? I don't remember. If I did talk about this before in a video, I'm sorry. I apologize. But the Dirk collecting, the Dirk PC base, the collectors for Dirk are so wide that stuff like this just gets snapped up. And then, let's see, I'll go this next. So this was the Ellie I ended up grabbing, and this is the one I wanted, the True Blue. Ever since the All-Star, so All-Star Weekend ends, All-Star break ends, Brewers come to Cincinnati for a humongous divisional series. I think the Reds went into that game up 1 in the or into that series up 1 in the standings. And then when the series was over, the Brewers were up 2. So Milwaukee came in and swept. And Ellie went over, I want to say 12, 11 or 12. Wasn't pretty, and it wasn't what I had in mind. when I picked this up. But you don't pick this up hoping for a hot series and then you flip. You pick this up because he's one of the most dynamic and talented players that we've seen come through in the last 30 years, maybe. And he did record, he did set another Major League Baseball record yesterday when he threw a ball from third base to first base at 97.9 miles an hour, which is the fastest ball that's ever been thrown across a diamond in the era of the StatCast and in the era where we pay attention to that stuff. There's supposed to be a shortstop for St. Louis that throws the ball over 100 miles an hour, but for now, it's just another notch in Ellie's belt. I can't wait. I think he might dip a little, but I think if you like him, you just got to pick an entry point on a card. You got to get in and just enjoy the ride, because it's going to be up and down with him. He's a little bit of a free swinger, but if he gets hot and if the Reds can, make the postseason, watch out. It's going to be exciting. And then lastly, this is a card that I've like drooled over since I saw it. And that's been a couple years ago. I talked about Josh Allen and moving off of Josh Allen, and that having to do with a coach not being there, specifically his offensive coordinator, who's now head coach of the New York Giants, Brian Daboll. This is a pickup of another quarterback who's got a coaching change I think is going to help him. So Brandon Staley is the head coach out in San Diego, but they brought in Kellen Moore, who I know from being a Cowboys fan, and I think Justin Herbert's primed for a big year. Let me break this out of the jacket just so you can see it in all its beauty. So this is the teal Contenders Optic. This is out of 99. This is a dual 10. The color match is impeccable. The auto is impeccable. And it's my first big Herbert, so let's go Justin Herbert. I've always thought Justin Herbert, I don't know if he's better than Burrow, but he's got tools that are undeniable. I mean, his talent is undeniable, and I think he's better than Josh Allen, and that's why I moved Josh Allen and I got into Herbert. So we'll see, but I really liked it. These Contender Optics, when they first came out, they were kind of frowned upon, but I think a lot of collectors are really falling in love with this because of the color match aspect of it. So on card, right? And it's a Contenders, but it's not the true Contenders. It's not the one like Tom Brady. But the true Contenders don't have colors. It's just a white paper card. So while I'm not arguing that this is that the Contenders Optic set is a better set than the true Contenders, what I am saying is, if you're a chromium color match nerd like I am, then the Contenders Optic gives everything you'd want. It's the Contenders name, it's the chrome of a prism or a select or an optic, and it is the color match. And in this case, the teal color match, which is just perfect on Justin Herbert. So yeah, that's what I did, and I'll put my cards out one more time just so you can see everything together here. A lot of blues. I love blues. And then a Dirk in the middle. So it was a great Dallas show. Now it's time to start school. It's time to get back in the classroom. It's time to start, going to bed by 10 and getting up at 6. And real life is going to slap me in the face, but I'm ready for it. The next show will be in September, right when the NFL season gets going. My son has already told me he wants to go, so that'll be a fun one. But what a way to close out the summer. And it was good to see everybody. JR JR Sports Card Chronicles. My friend from San Antonio, he came up and I got a chance to see him. We hung out for about an hour, walked the show together, and then he was gone. Yeah, so JR, it was JR, it was Wes, High Grade Hits. He was busy all weekend. It's like we saw each other, we'd see each other, we'd pass each other. Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? Sat and watched Justin Gamble deal blackjack all night on the floor, which was interesting. Oh yeah, one thing that they did was on trade night they made that main hallway coming off the garage. They said no tables, so that thing used to be lined with tables on both sides. And on trade night, that was where everything was happening, and that hallway would be packed. But I guess the fire marshal stepped in and was like, "Nah, we can't be doing this." So they had the Starlight Room, which is always where Trade Night is, and then instead of that hallway going to the garage, it was basically that longer, bigger hallway that runs parallel to the main room that people were set up in. So Dallas Card Show continues to be, I think, the best card show in the country. Now, will Burbank's show out in Anaheim have something to say about that? Yeah. And then the National, is always the National. But it's only once a year, and it's pretty intense. But as far as a place to go see big cards, deal, liquidate, meet with people you hadn't seen in a while, Dallas is the card show for that. So lucky to have it in my backyard. But anyway, thanks guys. I appreciate it. Let me know how you guys did. I encourage you guys, if you haven't ever done a video, but you made some pickups at Dallas, do a video. Tell your story, because I love that kind of stuff, and I would definitely check it out. So drop me a comment below. Say, hey, check out my video, and I'll definitely do that. I'll follow you. The YouTube thing could be a great way to enjoy your collection without just sitting in a room by yourself looking at your cards. So I encourage everybody to dip their toe in the YouTube waters and see if they like it. But yeah, I'm sure I'll jump on here sooner than later and have something to say. But until then, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.